Live from Indianapolis, Indiana, welcome to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show, presented by Scott A. Nichols and State Farm Insurance. And now, here's your hosts, Brandon Reef and Jonathan Birdsong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crossroads Sports Radio Bracketology Selection Special. I am your host, Brandon Reef, joined as always by my man Jonathan Birdsong, and also our college basketball guru, Nick Peterson. Gentlemen, March Madness is here.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's been a
minute. Go ahead, Nick. Sorry, dude.
My bad. What a great evening, Selection Sunday. Always a great time. And hey, it's been about 12 months coming since the last year obviously got canceled. Just excited that it actually got here this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely much needed. It's been too long. When of course, you've got the Big Ten championship game that's running late. It's running past 6. We've talked about it. It's been close in the past, but everybody's waiting for the brackets. But this damn Big Ten championship game would not end. We finally got the brackets, though, and they cut to the chase, unveiling them, which is what we like. I remember a couple of years ago, Nick, when we were doing it at, I think, our first Bracketology show, they drew it out, and the way they did it was like the weirdest format ever, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So we are back. Yeah, JB, what's your thoughts, man?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I don't know my thoughts. I know my thoughts, man. Thoughts.
I
don't know, man. Big Ten, the Big Ten got to be favored to at least have at least 2 teams get to the Final Four. I know just because. Some people, you know what I'm saying, the Kentuckys of the world and the Dukes of the world ain't gonna be able to make it this year for you know what I'm saying, for one loss reasons, and
Duke didn't make it.
The total University of Duke. I don't know. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that pop up, man. The Duke's on the whole court. The whole university's on the lockdown, man.
Hey, I do want to say this though, Jonathan and Nick. I heard a rumor, and I hope it's not true. I really hope. I need one of my insiders that's down in Bloomington to let me know. But did Archie Miller really hold a Sunday show at Assembly Hall tonight? Thinking they were going to get in?
No way.
Yeah, I would hope not, obviously. maybe for the NIT.
All right, boys. Let's dive into it. We only got an hour that we're going to do this tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Always one of the greatest nights. Downtown, by the way, downtown Indianapolis is hopping. I work downtown, as a lot of you know. Some of you first-timers may not know. I work downtown, and my God, the city is like pre-COVID right now. The atmosphere, the teams, the fans screaming. We were getting Illinois out today. Ohio State buses were coming by. I think I saw about 150 middle fingers at the Ohio State bus. Basketball was back. The city of Indianapolis is back, and no better time than March Madness. Gentlemen, number 1 seeds, Gonzaga in the West, Michigan in the East. Those two are going to be on the same side of the bracket. We have Baylor in the South and Illinois in the Midwest. No real complaints from me on the number 1 seeds. What says you, Nick?
Well, yeah, I mean, I clearly think those are the 4 right number 1 seeds. What's interesting to me is, like you said, Gonzaga and Michigan being on the same side of the bracket. Does that mean, I suppose, that Michigan really is the number 4 overall?
Correct. That's what Illinois they have. Yes, that's what they just released a 68 field, and they've got Gonzaga 1, Baylor 2, Illinois 3, Michigan 4. So I think that big knockout for Michigan kind of did them in, I would believe.
Yeah. They certainly do tend to look at the more recent data more so than, the entire body of work. Because I'd say entire body of work, Michigan deserves to be ahead of Illinois. But
okay,
hey, that's splitting hairs. I think overall the bracket is in great shape.
Yeah.
I think, the big question I would have overall is Louisville. Are they getting penalized because they only played 20 total games? I know they were only 1-6 against Quad 1, but, I think, I don't know. I just feel like they're probably, you put them up against Drake, I think Louisville wins, 6 times out of 10. I just think Louisville's a better team.
Are you shocked? And then I'll go to you, John. Are you shocked that Michigan State is having to play in that first 4 against UCLA? Did you think they would be like a solid in?
I did have them not in that first 4, but just barely. I mean, they were right there. So no, I'm not overly surprised about it. In fact, there were a lot of those blue bloods that I had right in that same area. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted them to put all 4 blue bloods, bubble teams, Michigan State, UCLA, Syracuse, Louisville, put them all in the first 4. I thought that would have been kind of fun to see, but hey, we get one matchup of it. That's going to be fun.
Yep. Jonathan, your thoughts on the number ones?
Got no problem with any of these number ones. I really don't even have a problem with how they got them, split out or whatever. Kind of like I was thinking, man, this is Gonzaga's year to win it all. I know an undefeated team hasn't won the tournament since 1976 in the Hoosiers, right? Got to get that plug in. Maybe that's why Archie was, hosting a watch party, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. But no, man, for real. This is Gonzaga's year, I think, for sure to get to the Final Four, man. If you look at that team from top to bottom, it is more than just Jalen Suggs and it's another kid. It's probably going to be somebody's NBA lottery pick. I'm with Corey Kispert. That's what his name is. Another kid. Like I said, those 2 guys. It's more those 2 guys on the team. But unless somebody, unless somebody can do a mock. Not triangle. What's the famous Syracuse defense with
2-3?
Unless somebody got Unless somebody got one of those great defenses like that, man, Gonzaga just walks right into the Final Four, regardless of who's in front of them.
Okay. Gentlemen, I've got on the Facebook Live data right now. We'll go through region by region, kind of talk. Right now, we're going to start where the number 1 overall seed, Gonzaga. We're going to use that top region up there. Gonzaga, if we're going to take on Norfolk State or Appalachian. Look at those 8 teams in that top of the West region. Anything that really stands out, I kind of like the Virginia-Ohio matchup. I think that's going to be a hell of a game there. And then Creighton. I'm not a believer in Creighton. I haven't been. I actually put money on Georgetown the other night, and thank God I did. I think UC Santa Barbara might be that might be the first 12-5 upset I see.
I'm with you. I think what stands out in that part of the bracket is Gonzaga is going to walk right into the Elite 8.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see anybody touching them right there. And then, I just think overall Gonzaga's region, to me, I guess the bottom part of it, which we'll get to, I'm sure, is okay. But, that top half, I think Gonzaga has a cakewalk there.
John?
Virginia's been somewhat of a mix for me. They didn't look real strong necessarily going into the ACC play. They kind of, got the bearings about them, got some wins behind them, beat some teams. But then, had some flat losses that kind of head scratching. I guess I think the ACC all around has kind of been a head scratch, especially when you think about Georgia Tech winning the tournament. But when you look at, Georgia, not Georgia Tech, and I know we'll get to them in a second. Like I said, Virginia, I think Virginia makes it out of it. It beat Ohio, to be honest with you, man. They are a talented bunch. Bennett will have his guys ready. But anything outside of that, when you look at that bracket, is uncertain.
Okay. Looking at the bottom half of that bracket now, one of the first 4 games, Wichita State and Drake. I actually think that's going to be a great game on Thursday night. Played either that's going to be at IU or it will be played at Purdue as the opening round games there. Oregon VCU. I think I do like Oregon in that game. I think I was surprised they were seeded as a 7. Maybe it's because of the Oregon State loss there and there, but I think Iowa has a nice, easy trip there. And you guys are going to think of this. I got an upset. I've got USC beating Kansas in that second round as a kind of a first reaction bracket I've done. I like USC to beat them there, and then USC and Iowa to play with Iowa knocking off USC for the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I actually agree. I mean, to me, I think the kind of the same thing of what I said about Gonzaga in the top part. I think Iowa is going to really pretty much have a walk to the Elite Eight too, and they're going to have a rematch, Gonzaga and Iowa, I think, in that regional final.
Do they make you nervous?
I agree with you. I do like USC. I think they have the potential to get the Sweet 16 for sure.
Does Iowa make you nervous? Because they make me nervous. Like I against Oregon, it kind of makes me nervous. Like they're going to have a slip-up game. I don't know. I haven't been fully committed to Iowa this year, and I don't know why. But there's just something I haven't, and it didn't carry over to the tournament for me.
Well, I think the biggest thing for them, for me, was their defense. They weren't playing any defense for the first half of the year at all, but they did tighten it up there late in the season. They played pretty well in the Big Ten tournament. So Illinois is just a great team, and they ran into them, and a lot of teams are going to lose to Illinois. So now they don't make me nervous because Garza is not going to let them lose early. They're getting to the Sweet 16. I think they potentially could lose that game, but I don't see them not getting to the Sweet 16 at all.
Okay, John.
I think you're unsettled by Iowa just because they lost the Hoosiers twice. Again, I got to put the Hoosiers plug in, even though they ain't.
I knew it was coming.
That's why I did. But no, man. Kind of what Nick just said, man. Luka Garza is not necessarily he came back to school for particular reason. He loves Iowa. Hell, they already retired his number, if you can believe that. You know what I'm saying? But no, man. He's trying to shake doubters. Take some. This is the time to shine. Again, it's not like they have a slap of the team. They could use some better guard play. I mean, they're not gonna get it necessarily by a snap of their fingers, right? But this is kind of like something like he's gonna put on his back, like for them at least to get to the Sweet 16 for sure.
Okay, Nick, you were saying something about USC earlier before I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just a big believer in Evan Mobley. And if you guys remember back when we, at the beginning of the year when we were talking, I told you back then I wasn't a big fan of Kansas. So, obviously Kansas is good. I'm not trying to throw shade their way. They're a very good team, but I just think they're not as good as Kansas name that you think of year in and year out this year.
Yeah, I agree. Not looking at that, I said, I can just see Kansas just winning the first game and then just kind of laying an egg because you don't know what kind of Kansas team you're going to get night in and night out. And when it comes to the NCAA tournament, you really can't, obviously, you really can't go that route. So looking at the bottom half, gentlemen, the East, top portion of the East, Michigan, they get to win. They get to play either Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern. LSU and St. Bonnie's. We got Colorado against Patrick Ewing's Red Hot Georgetown team, and Florida State against UNC Greensboro here. I do like this portion of the bracket. Not going to lie. I think Michigan obviously easily wins their first game. I kind of like St. Bonnie's for this 9-8 upset here. I know LSU did pretty well, went to the SEC title game and won it, but I like St. Bonnie's in this game. I like Georgetown over Colorado even in this game. And then in my back there in that little thing, I have Michigan against Florida State. They're going to with Michigan going to the Elite Eight. Either way.
I mean, two things that kind of stick out to me on this one. One, to me, Michigan has not quite looked themselves, over the last couple of weeks. They just, they lost to Michigan State. They lost to Illinois in there. They just and they just lost to Ohio State, obviously, too, this weekend. So, to me, the team to watch out for, I think, is Florida State. I've been a believer in them from the beginning of the year, and I feel like they can get to the Elite Eight out of this. I like their draw. And then the other point I was going to say, too, is agree with you on Colorado, Georgetown. Colorado just got done playing Oregon, who's, a team just like Georgetown, right? That's hot at the right time. I think Colorado's got to kind of be shitting themselves thinking, man, we got to, deal with another Oregon State again right away. And, I think Georgetown might win that.
Okay. Jonathan?
I like Georgetown. I kind of chimed in, in the chat. Earlier on in the year, Georgetown was probably a cast off because they lost to Navy and they lost to West Virginia. But when they got the Big East play, man, they held their own just like anybody else. They just don't necessarily have the name players that everybody's kind of. There's no Mutombo, there's no Alonzo Mourning, there's no Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? There, but they are probably like you said, Brandon. They're one of the hottest teams to start in this tournament. How far they'll go, because they do show signs of some inconsistency sometimes playing wise, but win 2 games for sure. Outside of that, they're kind of playing with house money. Here's where I'm gonna have to disagree with Nick. Man, I do not trust Florida State. I like Florida State. I think that's the NBA factory, to be honest with you. But we were talking about the March Madness Final Four, man. Florida State, how they lose, you know what I'm saying? And I know this was maybe about a week ago. How they lose Notre Dame, I don't know. You know what I mean? With that talent they have, I don't know. But they are very capable of putting together a good string of victories. But I just don't trust them to get to an Elite Eight, and that's kind of where I expect them to get. I expect them to get past the Sweet 16. I mean, they got enough talent on that team, and Leonard Hamilton is a damn good coach to get them to a Final Four. But I really don't trust them, and it's more than just the resume of Notre Dame. They lose Notre Dame. They had some other head. I'm gonna call them bonehead. I ain't gonna call it head scratch. They got some other bonehead loss on that resume that they have. But they are big. Scotty Barnes, you know what I'm saying? Again, he's gonna be somebody's lottery pick. Maybe the Pacers, right? Got to put another Indiana plug in there somewhere, right? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man. They got some guys on that team, but they just got to when they play together, and they do play great defense there as well. Shot selection questionable sometimes, but I just don't necessarily trust them to get to the Elite Eight.
Okay. By the way, first 2 regions we've shown, well, almost 2 full regions, and I've already got both 12-5 upsets already in my first reaction bracket. I'll fill out like 3 or 4 more brackets till then to hone in my final one and all. But I like the 12-5s already, it seems like. And here's my thing: we go to the bottom of this region. With some fans going to be in attendance now and stuff, I still think there's going to be plenty of upsets based on kind of what we've seen, how it's gone this year with no fans even in attendance all. I think some attendance will create some more of the atmosphere, but I still think we're going to get kind of the same upsets in the field that we had earlier this season, even with fans there.
Yeah, I don't really think there's going to be that many upsets this year for some reason, just because to me, there's a very distinguishable top 8 or so teams, and I think the Final Four is going to consist of all of those, so basically all 1s and 2s. And then I think there's a very distinguishable about top 25 or so teams, so call it the top 5 or 6 seeds. I think they're all kind of in that same bracket. I think the Sweet 16 is going to be made up of 15 out of the 16 are going to come from that group, and there might be one team that makes a run to the Sweet 16 that you kind of don't expect, but I actually think it's going to be kind of chalky. And I definitely don't think any 14, 15, or 16 is going to win a game.
Okay.
At all. I know that's not really going out on a limb, but I really don't see that at all.
No worries.
But, that happens.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's usually maybe one per year, but I don't think there will be this year.
Maybe we'll get them all since we didn't get a tournament last year. No. Gentlemen, we've moved to the bottom half of the East region now. BYU, they get the blue blood matchup against either Michigan State or UCLA. I actually like the Michigan State UCLA winner there to beat BYU in that game. I like UConn over Maryland, but I think when it comes down to it, I've got Texas and Alabama kind of chalky as Nick talked about. I like Alabama beating Texas there in that one to go to the Elite Eight against Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I definitely see an Alabama-Texas matchup. In fact, I think the winner of that game goes to the Final Four, in my opinion, out of this bracket. And then I agree with you, and I'll take it a step further. Michigan State will beat BYU. If you recall, I mean, I was high on them to start the season, and there's a big reason why. And he's the little leprechaun coach they got roaming around the sidelines there. I mean, that dude, he's a good coach. I'm telling you, he's a good coach, especially this time of year. And you've seen it over the last, several weeks. They've been playing some good basketball. Now, I know they lost to Maryland, but, that was more of a toss-up game, about a 50-50 game. And I don't know. I think I think he just gets them ready. He gets them ready for tournaments, and they're going to be ready.
I had a hard time choosing between that UConn and Maryland game. I kind of almost call that a toss-up. I think it's an equal chance of 50-50 of either team winning. I also kind of think, Nick, that Maryland may be, and I know they were a 9 seed, I think, for the Big Ten tournament, but I almost think they're underseeded in this NCAA tournament a little bit. A 10, I kind of put them at I was thinking like an 8 or a 9 for them. So 10, I would think it's kind of tough, but I do love the way UConn's playing, so that's why it's kind of a toss-up match for me.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I had UConn as a 7, and I had Maryland as a 10, so I had them spot on. I do actually favor UConn in that game. I think UConn wins that, but yeah, I mean, certainly it's near 50-50 for sure.
Okay. John, your thoughts on that bottom half of that bracket?
If we could only get Texas and Alabama in a bowl game, you know what I'm saying? No, man, Bama beats Texas. Texas is wildly athletic in their starting 5, but I think Bama's just got better guards. And nothing against Shaka Smart. I think Musselman with this particular Alabama group, you know what I'm saying? I think he beats Texas and he advances.
Okay. The Must Bus, huh? Wait, no, it's not Must Bus. It's
Musselman. It's Musselman.
No, it's not him. He's Arkansas. It's Nate Oates.
Oh, it's Nate Oates. Damn it, man. I don't know. I can't believe I said that, but still, Twitch, yeah. So Alabama still got better guards than sure.
Jonathan, hey, I will tell you this, Nick. All year on our Crossroads Sports Radio show, Jonathan was loving him some Shaka Smart, especially with the hair, and he was all over them. So,
yeah, they're a good team, man. They play a good brand of basketball.
Yep. Looking up, just switching sides now, going to the other side of the bracket. In the South, the top half of the South, the Baylor Bears, the number 1 seed in that. You've got a hell of a matchup with them in the second round. Either going to take on North Carolina or Wisconsin. Looking at these two teams, you would think of this as like an Elite 8 matchup in a normal year. But these guys are going to face off on Friday in the first round game. You've got Villanova and Winthrop. With Villanova with 2 key injuries, they did not look good in the Big East tournament. They did not look good in their finale. I think they're definitely overseeded. And guess what, guys? That's another 5-12 matchup that I want to take an upset on there, but I've already got 2. I don't think I could do a third. And then you got the Purdue Boilermakers, the only team here in the state of Indiana. There's my plug to make the NCAA tournament. Boilermakers against the Mean Green of North Texas. That would set up the Boilermakers in a matchup either against Villanova or Winthrop, a rematch against Villanova from 2 years ago when Carson Edwards decided to go crazy. I like Baylor, and call me crazy, I like Baylor and Boilermakers here in that top spot going for battling for the Elite 8. I like Purdue going to at least the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. I like if you're the Boilers, I think you got to love your draw at least until the Sweet 16, and then you got to go up against Baylor at that point. That's going to be difficult, but yeah, I mean, I actually think if Wisconsin wins that, I think they could maybe give Baylor some fits. Just try and slow them down. Baylor likes to speed it up. If Wisconsin, it just could be a nightmare matchup game in that scenario. If the cards play out right, if Wisconsin's able to slow the pace and play their type of basketball.
Okay.
They played. I think it was the toughest schedule out of everybody in the country, Wisconsin. So to me, I actually had them a little bit higher, like a 7 seed. So to me, they're a little underseeded, and they got experience. I think they're a scary team if you're Baylor in the next round. And to me, Purdue, I mean, for the reasons you said, losing Gillespie for Villanova, I do think Winthrop might win that game. And I think Purdue just kind of cakewalks, honestly, into the Sweet 16.
Okay. Right now, it looks like Boilermakers are a 7.5-point favorite. Right now, the odds have came out 7.5-point favorite currently for that. Baylor 26.5-point favorite for their game. Real quick, shout out Nick. You had the correct 4 and 5 seed there in the same region. Purdue is a 4 and Villanova is a 5. And you had them on our Crossroads bracket right there. So props to you. You got that one spot on.
Yep. And I figured if it happened that I like Purdue if that were to happen. So yeah, Boilermakers, get ready for the second weekend.
Jonathan, your thoughts on that top half of the South region?
I think Carolina blows out Wisconsin. Again, they got some behind the curtains issues. I'm glad they made it to the tournament, and they got some behind the curtains issues. They're big. North Carolina's big up front, kind of young in the backcourt. They got some, what I'm saying, fresh. They got friends on both sides, on the front line and in the guard rotation. But I think they're just a little bit better than Wisconsin. Baylor, too much. They got great guard play. They go 3 guards deep. They're interchangeable shooting guards, hard forward. I mean, they play great wing guards. I'm saying with Maceo T, Davin Mitchell, Jared Butler. They've got an X factor in the kid who kind of reminds everybody of a poor man's Keith Van Horn and Matthew Mayer, who can get hot. He's kind of struggled from 3 midway in the Big 12 Big 12 regular season, but I think Baylor's too good. You can almost kind of just just plug them in to get to the Final Four, at least from that bracket. Anyway, I think Purdue and Villanova, it's going to be a dogfight. It really is. Even with Villanova losing their lead guy to an injury, Purdue's still kind of young. The great thing is, shame on them, man. They won't be able to play in West Lafayette. They won't schedule a game in West Lafayette for them. But correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. There is no game in Bankers Life, right? I don't think it is.
Yeah, they are having some games there.
Okay, as long as Purdue don't play in Bankers Life, man, anywhere else in Indiana, I think they're good at, man. For some odd reason, man, they have some hard times in Bankers Life, man. To be honest with you, but I like Purdue to edge Villanova. And then, like I said, they're after that, they're kind of playing with house money. Just because they're a younger team right now. I think next year we probably have a different conversation about Purdue, potentially even getting to the Elite Eight, potentially even get to the Final Four, right? But this year, I think
I like that.
Yeah. But this year they advance, and I think they win at least 2 games.
Okay. Looking at the South region, guys, we've got Texas Tech, who's kind of had an up and down season. I feel like I've bet on Texas Tech 7 or 8 times this year, and probably 50%, 50% times betting on them. Texas Tech and Utah State. Arkansas, the must bus against Colgate, the toothpaste company team. Florida and Virginia Tech in the 7-10 game. That's kind of intriguing to me. I do like Virginia Tech there to knock off Florida in that 7-10 matchup. And then Ohio State, obviously. So in that side of the region, I have Arkansas against Ohio State there. And I actually went with the Buckeyes over Arkansas to go to the Elite Eight there. I wasn't a big fan of Ohio State. I've liked the way they've played in the last few weeks, especially the NCAA tournament or the Big Ten tournament, even though they have blown leads like crazy. I do like Ohio State there over an Arkansas team there to go to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this part of the bracket looks like it'll be pretty chalky to me. The one thing I do like is possibly Texas Tech to upset Arkansas. I just think, Chris Beard has shown that he can get his teams ready to play tournament games. And, I certainly think Texas Tech Arkansas, if it were to happen, would be a really good game and come down, to the end of the game. But I think Texas Tech could beat them. And then Ohio State, they've been a little bit up and down. But obviously, they've been playing really good basketball, like you said, the last couple of weeks. I certainly like their chances to get to the Elite Eight at that point with draw.
Okay, Jonathan.
Yeah, what Ohio State doesn't have, what a lot of the other Big Ten teams do have, is a real, 7-foot guy or even 6'9" guy playing in the middle. What they do have is a sensational guy in Dwayne Johnson Jr. If anybody kind of kept up his stats in the Big Ten tournament, man, I don't think he played a game where he didn't score over 20. You know what I mean? Ohio State moves the ball better, at least in this bracket. They move the ball, share the ball better than anybody in this bracket. Like I said, it ain't just. I want to say it ain't just Washington. So they get points from Swing. They get points from EJ Liddell. They get. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more than just a one-man team. And you know what I'm saying? When you have those kind of when we have those like utility night kind of teams, man, it's kind of hard to beat in this particular tournament. I wish, right, and they probably do. They had a big, they could like a Cockburn or like a Luka Garza they could throw it down to, and kind of slow down the game in close games or whatnot, or you know what I'm saying, or just dominate on the boards or whatnot. But I like Ohio State. If they get a chance to play, man, I don't know, man, because like I can't just not say ignore Arkansas there as well.
Right.
Coming out of that bracket. I will agree with you. Virginia taking Florida. Florida, they're happy to be there. They really are. I think. And this Texas Tech team has kind of been up and down. I think Arkansas beats them though. But I think Ohio State Arkansas game, man, they better be prepared to go to overtime. And if that's the case, then I think Ohio State kind of edges them, man, because they held the last couple games, they've been to overtime. You know what I'm saying? So and of course they're coming up on shorter end of the stick today, right? But I don't know. I like Ohio State for sure.
Okay, perfect. Going to the last region, guys, the Midwest region. We've got the number 1 top seed Illinois. They've taken on Drexel. You got a next 8-9 matchup, Loyola Chicago, Sister Jean against Georgia Tech. I actually love this game. Can't wait to watch this game. Then you got Tennessee, an Oregon State team that got in that upset Oregon in the Pac-12 tournament, or as Jonathan calls it, the Pac-10 still. So Oregon State going on against Tennessee, Rocky Top, and then Cade Cunningham, the number 1 player, basically in the NBA draft coming up. Oklahoma State against Liberty in that first round, that 4-13 matchup. Looking at that, I've got Georgia Tech. I like Georgia Tech over Loyola there. And Sister Jean, I know that's a toss-up. I just went Georgia Tech with the bigger team. I like Oklahoma State easily going past Liberty and then beating Tennessee. And then I got an Illinois and Oklahoma State matchup there. I think it's going to be like an 88-80 game. Rewind this, play it back when it happens, so I can call it right. I like Illinois there over Oklahoma State to go to the Elite Eight there in that top portion.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think the one thing that sticks out to that in this part, Illinois, Oklahoma State, if that matchup happens, I mean, like you said, IU soon move against Cade Cunningham. I mean, what better? You know, there are not two better perimeter players in this tournament than those two. So to have them in the Sweet 16 game would be a nice treat. I think if you're looking at it from Loyola's perspective, I was thinking this. Georgia Tech's the team. They just happened to win a tournament called the Atlantic Coast Conference Tournament. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before. I mean, it's kind of a big deal most years. Apparently now they get 9 seeds, the teams that do that. I think Georgia Tech is not a great draw for Loyola. And, if I'm Loyola, I'm sitting there looking like, all right, we've got an 8 seed. We're used to getting like an 11 or a 12 seed. Well, shit. I think I'd rather have a draw as an 11 or a 12 seed in this tournament than the draw that they got. Because, hell, even if they beat Georgia Tech, guess who they get to play next? Good Lord. Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. John, your thoughts?
Man, that's a game that I would want to see almost in this Sweet 16 would be Loyola and Georgia Tech, man, be honest with you, man. Some great stories from both of those coaches, both of those programs, for sure, when you think about the years that they had. And Brandon knows me, man. I got Coach Porter potentially coming to IU if a buyout happens for Archie Miller, man. But that's another story for another time, right? Illinois beats Drexel for sure. Tennessee's got some great guards. They're probably going to be gone after this year. I think they beat Oregon State handily. I'm not Liberty, man. I wish Liberty had a better draw, but they're running to Cade Cunningham, who could be on a Carmelo Anthony type of run in this particular tournament, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that prides himself on winning. He wants to continue to play.
He just does a lot of stupid fouls. He gets himself in foul trouble over stupid stuff. I feel like too much. Not to cut you off.
Well, he's always in the middle part. He's always in the mix of a play.
Yeah.
Whether it's passing or scoring or rebounding, man. So I kind of look at it like that. But you're right. He's got some help on that team, but if he ain't out there on the floor, they're by mark. They're a far different team if he's not there. So you're right. There's something that I'm saying from a coach standpoint that maybe the opposing coach is gonna have to kind of look at as well. You know what I'm saying? Well, how can we minimize? You know what I'm saying, his particular play. But, like, man, he's the best player in this tournament for sure. He said he was the best player in the Big 12. He was bragging cockily, but he said he was the best player in the Big 12 a couple games ago. But he's very humble, and he wants to win, and he wants to continue to win. And I think it's going to be that's a tough game that they're going to have to play if Tennessee comes out of that bracket, like I think Tennessee will. But Illinois should come out of that bracket, man. You talk about somebody trying to slow down. That's a team that they don't necessarily pass the ball or share it necessarily great. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense how they win, but they rebound like the guards rebound. You know what I'm saying? And we know what they have in the middle. We know what they have in the center with Cockburn. And then I want to mess up his last Ayo Dasumu. Oh my goodness, he's electric his damn stuff. So if they can anybody can slow down that. There's nobody in this bracket that can slow down that team though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I think Illinois is kind of just, you know what I'm saying. It won't be a waltz by any realm of imagination because they're not a perfect team. Like I said, they have some things they kind of trip them up, right? But the Illinois should win this bracket for sure.
Okay, a couple notes that came across during that COVID-wise. If any of these teams before Tuesday's deadline end up catching COVID and they don't have the requirements to be able to play, teams like Louisville that we talked about or so, those teams will get the spot. Instead, afterwards, it's just a forfeit, which is crazy, which could destroy a bracket. They're looking at that. But also, gentlemen, it's an all-important alumni matchup real quick. I have seen on Twitter between the Mean Green of North Texas and Purdue. All right, so Purdue's got the alumni, Neil Armstrong, Orville Redenbacher, John Wooden, Drew Brees, and Jim Gaffigan. All right, it's those five there against the Mean Green alumni that I saw some of these, and I said, these guys are alumni of the Mean Green? Stone Cold Steve Austin, Nora Jones, Meatloaf, Don Henley, Dr. Phil, and whoever the hell Pat Boone and Roy Orsbun is. So the all-important alumni match. Anyways, look. Go ahead.
I'd still take the Boilers.
I love it. I love it. You're my favorite person now, Nick. Looking at the Midwest lower region, the last portion, San Diego State against Syracuse. Boeheim's team got in, and they're not even in a play-in game, which they were everywhere I saw. They were going to be one of the last four in, so they avoided the play-in game. I think they did that based on. I mean, think about it. I talked about it the other day at work. I said, "Damn, you lose a buzzer beater, and then the very next day, the team that beat you gets COVID and can't participate, so you get knocked out that way too." So. That's a great matchup. West Virginia gets Morehead State. I think West Virginia takes care of Morehead State in that game. Clemson and Rutgers. I like Rutgers. Maybe I'm Big Ten biased, but I like Rutgers over Clemson in that game. I think Houston beats Cleveland State in Assembly Hall. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. In Assembly Hall for Friday night. So, Calvin Sampson getting another dub in Assembly Hall over Archie Miller there. And then looking at that second round, I do I like West Virginia coming out against Houston. They're going for a battle for the Elite Eight.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you on Clemson. To me, I think I had them as a 10 seed, not a 7 seed. So to me, I like Rutgers draw big time because I think they'll beat Clemson, and I think they can beat Houston. Honestly, Rutgers is a team that. I don't think it's getting enough credit. I think Ron Harper Jr. He's a good player. I think Rutgers. I think there's a chance they somehow surprise some people and make it into the Sweet 16 down there. And then I'm a fan of the Huggy Bear. He just he's consistently getting his teams ready for March as well. So I think they're gonna steamroll through and get to the Sweet 16 there as well.
Okay. John?
Offensively, to the better-looking West Virginia team for Bob Huggins. So I know a couple weeks ago, me and Brandon kind of talked about on one of the shows if Bob Huggins is a Hall of Famer, right? Man, that's going to be a dogfight with him and Boeheim. Or potentially can be, man. I haven't seen enough of San Diego State just to necessarily not say they're not going to win. I know they're quote unquote a lesser conference, but I think like I said, Jimmy Boeheim is going to bring the zone defense with wherever he's at, right? And you know what I'm saying, if you can't shoot, you know what I'm saying, or if you don't have a big, you're not going to beat Syracuse regardless. So Syracuse versus West Virginia, man, like I said, it's going to be a great game. I think West Virginia advances though. I have no faith in Clemson. I don't know why they're here. I think the only reason why they're here is because Duke had to sit out for whatever reason. It didn't finish the tournament. It didn't finish the ACC tournament. I do like Houston. I think Calvin Sampson has his guys motivated, man. Internally, how much is he motivated to come back to the state of Indiana, where, you know what I'm saying, so much shame, so much whatever, you know what I'm saying, so much, you know what I'm saying, I hopefully they make Dan Dawkins do the game, right? And we're hearing a whole bunch about that. But there's a lot of stories with Kelvin Sampson here in Indiana. So I'm kind of root for it to at least to get to the Sweet 16. But if you twist my arm, and I know you are, to win this bracket, I'd have to go with West Virginia. They are the best. They are the strongest team.
Okay. Well, of course, you could not go again. You cannot pick. You can't pick your boy, the wannabe Hall of Famer, Kelvin Sampson. Now, come on now, gentlemen. We're at that stage right now where we are picking our final four teams to close out the show and our national championship and final. I'm a little chalky, guys. I'm sorry. I am when I kind of look at it there, and I kind of feel like that's kind of, as Nick said earlier, the tournament kind of looks chalky. I've got Gonzaga coming out of the West. I have Alabama coming out of the East, I just don't trust Michigan without Livers. How long is he out? Will he come back in a couple of weeks? Maybe. But Livers out. I like Alabama in this. I have Baylor beating Ohio State. So I have Baylor. They've been the second best team all season long. I've got them in the Final Four. I've got Illinois. I took Illinois on Friday at plus 900. I put $150 on them, plus 900 to win the national championship. So I may be tipping my hat here, guys. But I like Illinois. I like how they've played. I like their pedigree. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I love the way they've played. I've seen them all weekend. National championship, I have Gonzaga versus Illinois. I've got the Illini, the Fighting Illini of the Big Ten Conference, representing the city of Indianapolis, home of the Big Ten Central, pretty much. Illinois winning the national championship over Gonzaga.
Yeah, I actually I like that for the most part. And you're going to see here in a second, and mine's going to be pretty similar. But, when we started, a few months back, and I was on the show with you guys, if you guys remember, at the time, my pick was Gonzaga. And guess what? I'm not going to waver from that at this point, right? And they're undefeated. They are clearly the best team. Jalen Suggs, Corey Kispert, that Timmy kid down low. I mean, they have all the makings of a national championship team. They've shown that they can beat, top tier talent. Now the question is, since over the last 2 months they really haven't played anybody, can they turn it on and win these 6 games? And that's going to be the interesting part, because to me they're the clear-cut favorite. I really like them a lot. So hey, there you go. They're one of my Final Four. Obviously, the rest of my Final Four, then I'm gonna go with Ohio State. I just think in that bracket, obviously Baylor can win it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think Ohio State's gonna have a fairly easy road to get to the Elite Eight. And then I just think Baylor, like I said, I think Wisconsin could pose some problems to them, and I think Purdue potentially could pose some problems to them just from a style factor. I think that's a big component of the tournament. And when you get matchups that you aren't used to seeing, I think Baylor's draw is a little bit more difficult. Had Gonzaga gotten that draw, I'd be saying even the same thing about them. Honestly, I'd be nervous. I like your Illinois pick. They're playing some of their best ball at the best time of the year. Ayu Dosunmu, he's a beast. He reminded me. I said it when he first came on. He reminded me of Oladipo, and he still kind of does. He kind of has that same career trajectory that Oladipo had. Now, hey, that didn't work out. Tournament success for Oladipo, but I really like Dosunmu. I think he's going to help carry that team to a Final Four, and I agree with you, to a national championship game where they will lose to Gonzaga. My final pick is actually a team that I took earlier to win the Big 12. If you remember when I was hating on Kansas at the beginning of the year, I'm going to go with Texas. I think Texas, we've said Shaka Smart, he's made runs in the tournament before. He's got a lot of good perimeter players. They play a good defense, and they got Sims and Brown down low too. A couple big guys that can hold their own. I think that's the most vulnerable bracket, and that's why I decided to go a little bit outside the box and take a 3 seed instead of a top 1 or 2. But that rounds out my Final Four.
Okay, Jonathan.
Brandon, listen to everybody's picks, and after y'all listen to mine, man, we have no love for the ACC this year. We have no love for the Big East.
Listen, I would have took Duke if they were in it. Damn it.
No love for ACC, no love for Duke. No love for the Big East to get to the Final Four. I don't either, man. I like the 2 Big Ten teams to get to the Final Four. That's Illinois. That's Ohio State. Win it all will be Gonzaga. It'll be kind of poetic because it hasn't been done since 1976, since IU did it, Bobby Knight and all that. Who was on that team. I don't want to go down memory lane. I'm sure I will at some point on the next show. But I don't know correct me if I'm wrong. Who's in that fourth? In that last bracket, I'd say West Virginia.
No, that Illinois is in that bracket. It's going to be you have Michigan, Alabama, Texas, Florida State. That's your top four seeds in the East.
Okay, well then I would say Alabama would be the fourth team. But like I said, though they are a program on the upswing with Nate Oates and whatnot. I know there's been some talk about trying to get him to buy out, right? Blah blah blah. But man, I really do like Gonzaga to win it all, regardless of who they play. Same reason why you don't like Michigan and how long Livers is going to be out. They do have enough talent on that team to at least get to the Elite Eight. Michigan does. But with he kind of what makes them kind of go too, you know what I mean? So with them getting to the Final Four would be hard, tremendously hard without him. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that coach staff can't come up with something on the fly to, you know what I'm saying, to prepare for him not being there. But I think Gonzaga just has too much. Mark Few is due. You know what I mean? He has elite talent. He has Kispert is a floor spacer, and Jalen Suggs is taking kid 3.0, and like I said, they don't play selfish basketball at all. So I really do like Gonzaga to win it all this year. As crazy as that sounds, I think it's crazy because every year we have them favored to do something, and they kind of fall flat at some point. But I think this is the year they get there, and I think this is the year they cut down the net.
Okay, perfect. I like it. I like the picks, gentlemen. So we have Gonzaga, and Illinois, but we're pretty much. Oh yeah, John, who do you have in your championship game? Is it Illinois or is it Ohio State?
It's Illinois. No, it's Illinois.
Okay,
Illinois.
so we have a consensus national championship. I like it. All right, guys. Nick, we'll give you final thoughts. The whole NCAA tournament here in Indianapolis. The tournament starts this Thursday with the first four. I'll let you give us your closing remarks.
Yeah, I think, being that we are Crossroads Sports here, I think that's, the biggest thing, right? Because I'm looking at this bracket, and it's got location of where these games are: Indianapolis, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana. I mean, how cool is that to have every single game, all 67 games are going to be played in one state? And what state is it? Well, in 49 states, it's just basketball, but this is Indiana. It really is a pretty cool idea. And to have it be, an undefeated team coming into this tournament that is the favorite, like you were saying, Jonathan, it's very poetic. It's exactly 45 years later, and here we are. We're going to be crowning an undefeated national title in the state of Indiana to the Gonzaga Bulldogs, unfortunately.
Okay. Jonathan?
Man, I would encourage everybody that's listening to get out. It's in the Circuit City, or if you're visiting to watch some of the games, man, of course, mask up, right? Be safe, all that, right? But check out some of the sites downtown. Myself, and I know Brandon, take some pictures, man. Check out some of the scenery that downtown Indianapolis has, man. Go look at the Peyton Manning GOAT statue that they have out in front of Lucas Oil. You know what I'm saying? Go check out some of the fine eatery spots that we have downtown, man. And then, like I said, downtown is decorated from head to toe, and March Madness Final Four, apparel and whatnot. And I know it's gonna probably get even crazier as we get to the Final Four, right? But no, man, this is like Nick Peterson said, man. They say Madison Square Garden, New York is the mecca of basketball. I think that's BS. This is Indianapolis is the mecca of basketball. And like I said, man, just absorb the culture. I would encourage everybody to just go downtown and like I said, absorb the culture of basketball, man, because this is the basketball state for sure.
Perfect. Absolutely. Check us out. ESPN, Bracketology. We have our Crossroads Tournament Challenge on there. Fill out your brackets on there. Look for Crossroads Group. It'll be on the Facebook page. It'll be on the Twitter. It'll be on our website. Check it out there. Join us. Take your picks against our picks. Even though we're going to be right, you can still compete a little bit, see how you do with some of the other ones. Check us out. Me and Jonathan this Wednesday night. We'll be chatting it up. Another great show coming up this Wednesday night. And we'll get Nick Peterson back on before the national championship so we can kind of talk. And we can talk this Gonzaga versus Illinois game a little bit more in depth. So Check us out there, guys. Thanks for listening. Take care. Nick, thanks for joining us tonight, buddy. Always, always appreciated.
Hey, always a pleasure, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. And thank you, Nick, again. And hey, the madness is here. The tournament starts Thursday night. Fill out those brackets, fill out the tournament challenge. Listen to our latest podcast. We just had another great podcast, me and Jonathan. And guys, enjoy the madness.
Thanks for listening to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show. You can find more episodes on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Crossroads sports content.